Sup, everybody. Welcome to episode 75 of the Sup. It is James Bonsama with you. I am wearing my gear, as you all know, because it is a very momentous occasion for South African football fans. So I have my South African flag ready here. I have the FIFA World Cup because, there's a chance that South Africa could do it because we are still in the FIFA World Cup, baby. So very, very excited. We do have Josh with us, as you can see there. He's going to be joining us very, very shortly. He is there on his machine. He's just gone to go and finalize a couple of things in his office. While we wait for him, I'm going to run through a few ecosystem announcements. But yeah, this is a World Cup edition because, of course, Josh is a Korean American. So we're going to chat to him when he comes online very shortly. But very, very exciting times for us as South African soccer fans or football fans, wherever you guys may be in the world. We are super, super excited. If I get distracted by football and soccer, then forgive me. Sup, Supra heroes, my man Bonjadi. What's up, my man? Mr. Neil says soon live. Yes, sir. Super soon. Sensei is watching as well. Sup to you, my man. The Crypto Pill TCP. Hi, Super James. Sup? Yep. Hi, guys. My man. Super Trade says super soon. Jan is watching, saying sup. So is Mr. Neil. We've already sent a shout out to him. Our main man, fantastic. What's up, fan? It's good to have you watching as well. Good to have you guys here. I need to speak faster. I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but when I make videos, I'll give you guys a little insight. I do speed them up. When I make videos for X, I speed them up just a little because we live in a world of so much information that our brains need it faster. But when you're live, you can only speak as fast as your brain processes. So I need to speak faster to pick that up. So I'll try and do that. I'll do my best. Consigliere, the Italian name who is based in the US of A. I won't dox you too much, but sup guys, here's Fire, the legend himself. What's up, Consigliere? Alpha Opemi says sup, and so does Fun Anyone, as well as Gregor. Good to have you guys here. And Fan says that his favorite soccer team or football team is Ivory Coast. Hello. They are still in the World Cup as well, so shout out to them. The World Cup's heating up, guys. It's really heating up, so it's really, really exciting times. Okay, let's run through what do we have here? Delicate Balance says very soon. Zorg is watching as well. Zorg, good to have you watching. We'll soon need US citizens as Fable dealer. I know, right? I know. Can US citizens actually use Fable yet? Like, I thought it was shut down for everyone, so that kind of sucks. But let's run through a couple of ecosystem announcements right here. You're going to see my whole screen. It is going to what it's going to do is sort of give you an infinite loop, but I'll change that real quick. Let's go over and see what is happening. That's my email. We'll start with Cosmo. So if you guys have been following what's going down with Cosmo on Supra, their first complete trade happened. It was executed on Supra mainnet, requested, settled, and cleared all in a single atomic step. You can take a look at the entire process. It's live and verifiable at heroes.cloud. So this is their site, heroes.cloud. It is the execution layer for agent economies on Supra. Of course, with Supra OS, we are working extremely hard to create an agent economy. And it's very exciting technology. Also integrating Kristara's technology, Yong, who has created Kavela AI as well. So if you want to find out more, go to heroes.cloud. Really, really exciting to see what Superheroes and Cosmo have done. It's the first building block of an economy where agents trade autonomously with one another. And then reading into it a little bit more, you guys can get some Discord verifications. So if you have an NFT, it automatically gives you access to their closed Cosmo chat rooms and their AI agent build. Just go to Superheroes on X. Bon Jardy is what you need to type in. Bon Jardy, one word, Bonjardy. Bon Jardy, one word, and you'll get to this page, and you'll be able to get the links to the Discord for this Cosmo NFT. You can also buy those NFTs on that post on X as well. There's a link there. You can see Cosmo NFT, Crystara.trade, and it'll take you through. Let's just have a look. Why not? Let's do that real quick. Quick sip of some water, because my mouth is already dry. Super Saiyans, what's up, my man? Sup, James, sup, all, and AI Garden. Judd Levy is watching. Sup, everyone. We're going to chat about AI Garden real quick as well. And Super Duper says, sup, superstars. And Zorg says, I'm working towards a future agent economy. Yeah, I mean, that's the future of what's going down, an agent economy. That's what's coming to DeFi. These are the Cosmo NFTs. You can get one for 30,000 Supra. There are only 112 left. 188 out of 300 have already been minted. 112 left. Go and get yourself a Cosmo NFT ASAP. Right, moving on to AI Garden. They have launched. Now, I hope it's here. Is it here, Judd? Because I wanted to announce it. You did send me some stuff in Telegram, but I wanted to announce it here. So what I'll do is I'll just highlight this one. 90s Child saying that Kaibutsu Chronicles is coming. And then this one from you guys saying Kaibutsu Mamoru Yomikai Relics are launching on Saturday. That is 2 days' time. On Saturday, June 27th. The time is to be confirmed or to be determined if you want to stick to TBD. Only Tiny Legends holders can mint. So do some Tiny Legends giveaways is what AI Garden are saying. Judd is going to give away some Tiny Legends. He's going to spin the Telegram wheel. So get into the AI Garden Telegram at 7 a.m. UTC tomorrow, I assume. Sign up in Telegram ASAP, and then just go forward, join wheel, and you can join the entry to get yourself some Tiny Legends. Alternatively, you can go to aigarden.art, and get yourself a Tiny Legend in order to mint yourself these new Kaibutsu Mamoru Yomikai relics, and have a look at how beautiful they are. They are incredible, these Kaibutsu Chronicles. Just phenomenal artwork. There are videos involved as well. Judd has been telling me about how they how the videos work and how much compute is going into making each video. And to be able to buy the NFTs that create these videos, it is incredibly cheap compared to what the compute cost is for making the videos. So go and check it out. aigarden.art is the website, or if you want to know the X account, it's AI Garden Art, one word. Here is a Yomikai battle. Let's open this. I can't remember if I allowed sound, so let's just have a look real quick. I mean, look at that art. What is this? That's like a white husky. Is that Cosmo, Judd? Being taken out by a seal? I love it. I love it. I mean, there's so much stuff here from these Kaibutsu Chronicles. Go and check them out. It's launching on Saturday. They are confirming the time. Owning a Tiny Legend is the only path to the whitelist. And then wrapping up ecosystem news, and a quick hello to everybody watching. Cactus Ledger says, sup, my man. I owe you some XDMs, so shout out to you. Also, a couple of people in my XDMs at the moment. I'm okay. Oracle Insights. I do need to reply to you. I will get to you guys ASAP. Christoph, big love to you, my friend. Cactus Ledger says that I do have a collection of tiny legends. Am I allowed to mint multiple times? Judd, if you're watching, can you answer that for Cactus Ledger? He wants to know if he can mint multiple times. So let us know. And wrapping up ecosystem news for today, we're going to have a look at hype markets. Now, there is a prediction market for me, for this guy right here, the mustache. I didn't end up putting any funds down, but you know, why not? Like, would it be wrong to put like hundreds of thousands of Supra down? But let's have a look. We've got Algeria versus Austria today, Netherlands versus Tunisia. I mean, that's an easy one. France versus Norway. Currently, the conviction is 71% France. Algeria, Austria, 45% Austria. So what is that? Like 50 odd percent for Algeria. That's an interesting one. Cape Verde versus Saudi Arabia is 42% for Cape Verde. I mean, there's some money to be made on some of these. Let us have a look if we can find my market, the one about James's mustache. Let's have a look if I can find it real quick here. Paraguay versus Australia. Paraguay are low favorites. Argentina versus Jordan. I mean, that's easy. I mean, that's fair money to be made. I mean, surely Jordan aren't going to draw. If you put, 100,000 Supra down, you're going to get 14% or about 12% in return. That's not bad for one game. Fantastic says all in for Portugal. Is that for the World Cup? Well, there you go. Judd has replied for you, Cactus. He says, yes, mint one for every tiny legend you own. So one tiny legend equals one minting of Kaibutsu Chronicles. Gregor, what are you suggesting here? Ask people to post something in the X chat box. Well, there we go. Mogul has chatted to us. Mogul says sup from X. But if you are in X, please give us a comment so that we can check, because there have been some issues with X of late. So please let us know. And Martin says, James, I'm finally dropping in again. Martin, it is great to have you back, my friend. It's been a while. So Panama versus England, easy conviction there. Will the super price break above 0006 in June? I mean, there's only like 3 days left of June. So that's a fair reflection, unfortunately, but of course, NFA, not financial advice, and do your own research. But I mean, look at these. There is money to be made, guys, if you guys know your football. I just want to find the one about James, or is this the World Cup? No, this is just markets. I've got to find the one about James real quick. Where is it gone? It's all just World Cup markets. And shout out to Chris and the ToonSwap team for getting almost every single game in the World Cup onto the platform. It's just phenomenal. I'm not sure if am I in World Cup? Where would I find James's market? Have I gone past it, guys, by the way? Let me know. Gregor was saying the chat box isn't working on X. That sucks, guys. So if you're watching on X, the chat box isn't working. It's not our fault. That is Restream's fault, and I'm going to contact Restream. Even backstage, Josh and I were preparing. There were some issues with Restream, so I am going to check that out. Right. So somebody has purchased a whole bunch of nose. James Bonsama, is he going to shave his mustache live on the SUP today before 6 p.m. UTC? That would be before 4 p.m. UTC. And correct, it is no. I'm going to be honest. I don't have a setup here. I don't have my razor. Unfortunately, it is no. And it would be wrong for me to bet, because I could put like a million Supra down for no and walk away with 25% on top of that, 250,000 Supra. I don't know if there's enough liquidity for that. And obviously, my slippage would be crazy, but it would be interesting, wouldn't it? Should we make it? What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Should I make a prediction? Let me know. So yeah, that's what's going on with Hype Market. They are cooking at the moment. If you guys have won some, fan says the bet is rigged. I didn't create the market, fan. I did not create the market, my friend. Spiky says that Twitter says it's not live, as in we're not live right now. That's a problem because it looks like we are live. I will look into that. That's really, really unfortunate. But I'll look into that. One Martin says 1 million at no, and then do it. I dare you. Oh, 1 million. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. Okay, I'll put some down. Why not? Because Martin said do it. I don't want anyone. I don't.
Let's maybe not.
Yeah, let's not. Okay, so my CEO is saying don't. So that's what I'm going to stick with. I'm going to say no. Look at that. We've just jumped. There we go. There we go. We've just jumped. People are like, okay, he's not going to do it. 94% no. People are just buying no's. And that's what prediction markets are all about. All right, Josh. Well, it's good to have you, man. Welcome to the show. That's ecosystem news, wrapping up what's going down, the primary stuff happening at the moment within the ecosystem. Josh, you have been unbelievably busy. Tell us a little bit about how busy you've been and what your primary focuses have been.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on. Of course, I mean, a lot of things in AI. Of course, blockchain meets AI is very interesting, and we're kind of designing protocols and also publishing our memory system and releasing it very soon. It's scoring very, very high on industry benchmarks, right? So it's a pretty interesting story that a crypto labs can come out of nowhere and rank very high on the hardest test for AI agent memory. Now, what is memory about in the first place? Well, if you start a fresh session in AI, it may not remember all the details. So, but really AI to be very effective, you want it to have pristine, perfect memory and recall, and to be able to synthesize the right thing at the right time, to pull the right thing at the right time. And why does this matter is because, there's a context window. AI agents or just AI in general per session has a context window, like 1 million tokens. And you cannot put all your history in that, So it's going to become like the key thing that drives AI user experience is very good recall. So it can help you think through, it can have what we call long range understanding. It can sift through and what they call find the needle in the haystack, of all your corpus of content. And it's basically something that we applied our kind of knowledge in scaling blockchain, because when you scale blockchain, you think about distributed systems, you think about various protocols, you even think about the database level, right? So you have to be aware, especially like things like parallel execution. These concepts really apply to memory lookup, it turned out. So we kind of came out of nowhere, just applied what we already intuited based off of the blockchain industry. And the things that work in computer science in one domain may have some effect in another. And this is basically how we were able to score very high and maybe the highest in relatively short time. But that was a complete 45-day complete focus on that, and I realized that this is worth doing because there will be many different OSs out there, agent OSs. It's like the first thing people think to do. It's like, how do I manage my agents? I need a user interface. And then people just say, that's an OS now, right? So there's going to be tens of thousands of them. I mean, there probably are already, or there's at least going to be hundreds of them. So that's not a really great product mode, because anything that anyone does on the OS interface level, it can be replicated by vibe coding in like 3 to 5 days, and that's why it's not a moat. So we really have to move away from software being like a moat. It really isn't. It's the more intangibles, and it's the kind of putting interesting things together that will be a moat. And that includes memory systems. That's actually like the big thing. Your AI interface could be beautiful, but if it has bad recall, that's not Jarvis. Like the goal is to get to Jarvis straight up. You know what I mean? Like all of us, we all get Jarvis, but Jarvis has to know everything in a privacy respecting manner. It has to be very good at.
By Jarvis, just jumping in real quick, Josh, by Jarvis, you're referring to what we've seen in the Marvel Avengers, right? Like with Iron Man and Tony Stark talking to Jarvis, who is more intelligent than a human and is able to interact like a human who knows you intimately. That's what you're referring to. We want our AI to be like that.
That's right. And you want your AI to be grounded in this information so that it doesn't hallucinate. So the way that we're also architecting our memory system is you have a kind of your own kind of ledger, your own kind of hash chain, the kind of provenance of where and who created this memory in your memory system. So it has to relying on kind of blockchain, kind of, let's say, anchored memories. Of course, anything on the blockchain is not going to be you don't post the data to the blockchain, you just post the fact that this happened, like the hash of it. So a very simple amount of information can kind of prove provenance, where it came from, and it forces the AI agent that you're dealing with. Remember, this is going to likely be until you run your own kind of open source models, Anthropic, ChatGPT, OpenAI, etc. They see everything, right? But they don't have everything super organized, and there's only a certain amount of memory they'll give you. Whereas if you have, eventually we're all going to have like encyclopedias worth of information that we have to sift through for ourselves or your company, right? And you need to be able to go through that very quickly and effectively. You have to be accurate, you have to be low latency, and it has to be cost effective. Now, why is this interesting? It's not just what's called like a key value stores, like, Josh's favorite color is blue, for example. That's a simple lookup. It's actually, how do you synthesize, like, for example, if there's a question like, for this department, summarize kind of their core deliverables in the last quarter, 3 months worth of activity that has to be synthesized. That does require an LLM. So, but then also you can kind of cite where the memories came from, so it's true. If you're like, wait, that seems off, you can click to see why and where that come from and who created that. So things like this, these are bonuses, but even beyond that, in our system, we're already scoring exceptionally high on all the benchmarks we ran. And this will be open source. We're going to give it away. And it's already integrated Supra OS. And Supra OS is going to come with it built in, basically. Let's put it that way. We'll definitely spend more time to talk about where does the Supra token fit into something like this. We'll definitely cover that. It's pretty straightforward. But when it comes to kind of the proprietary system, let's put it this way. If we scored, our highest score was like 65, but that was a single run. But let's just suppose, the average score is like 62 something. That's still the highest known to me across multiple runs. And when I say runs, I'm talking about on the benchmark, right? The industry benchmark. Well, there's still, room for improvement. There's up to 100%. Even if 62% is the highest in the world, there's still room for improvement. That gap is the proprietary system, that we will, slowly kind of it'll be more like our frontier approach, that won't necessarily be open source on day one. But our baseline that we already have, it's already winning. This is going to be available. And you can use this with OpenClaw. You can use this with Hermes Agent. You can use it with Supra OS. It's fine. And we have a strategy, by the way, where this will be something that contributes to a global verifiable memory layer. Okay. So let's just briefly bring the conversation there. And James, feel free to ask me questions along the way, because this is a new concept that we are all kind of pioneering. Basically, AI has an Oracle problem. Okay, it turns out. And what is that? Well, in blockchain, the Oracle problem is a blockchain is a closed loop system, right? It's closed loop blockchain. It's a perfect ledger. And to get data outside of blockchain onto a blockchain safely, you need an Oracle. Okay. So in AI, you have something called the training cutoff date. Okay, the training stopped on like January 1st, for example. Okay, that means it hasn't been trained on anything since January 1st. So if you were to ask it right now to summarize the highlights of a World Cup, you would have to synthesize, it would have to go to multiple sources, it'd have to kind of qualify different sources simultaneously at once to kind of verify information and then deliver it to you. But that could actually take, like, depending on your question. If your question is just like who won the game, you can retrieve those very quickly. But if you ask them something more vague, like what were the highlights of these games and why. That's going to be a lot of synthesis. That's going to take probably 30 seconds to respond, and you're using your Anthropic credits along the way. You're burning credits, right? So now imagine there's 10,000 people, because that event, by the way, did not happen before the training cutoff date. So it doesn't know. It has to do that work in order to give you that answer. So it has to go like 10 websites, right? And it has to burn tokens to synthesize it for you. Okay. Now let's suppose there's 10,000 people that are asking the same question, today. They all individually have to wait that 30 seconds. They all individually have to spend 10,000 tokens, whatever it might be. They all have to pay a couple pennies, to have the same outcome, to kind of get to the same answer again, rederive it 10,000 times. This is our thing. So our thing is basically, well, what if we can prove with a confidence score that a certain information and synthesis is reliable, and we can timestamp it, put the provenance onto Supra Layer 1, and now your agent, what it can do is it can use Supra's cognitive technology, memory retrieval, pull it quickly, verify it on Supra Layer 1, takes 100 milliseconds. Something that took 30 seconds can be a lookup that's only less than 1 second, So you save a bunch of time, but also the cost. It's one lookup, it's one kind of verification that the confidence score, like how did it get promoted to global acceptance, the provenance on it, the information. You can get all of that through the Supra Layer 1 and verify it very quickly.
I want to, so I'm going to jump in and just ask a question real quick. I obviously, as a marketing guy, don't understand the deep technicals, especially of AI and LLMs. Why do LLMs treat each request as a separate entity, instead of having a single core memory that can retrieve from a similar request? If thousands of people are making the same request, why can't it be pulling from that single source, as opposed to having to go and search every single time? Is that just a blind spot of these AI companies that Supra Labs has found and wants to dig into, or are they doing it for their efficiency levels?
So they do what's called prompt caching. Okay, so there are levels of this already, and they're realizing that this is important to do. But their incentives, in the short run, might be to have you burn and utilize as many tokens as possible. And this would maybe 1,000x the amount of tokens for that query that are collectively burned. So they may not want to go there just yet, but they will start to go in that direction. Now, what they won't be able to do is have a credibly neutral, censorship resistance kind of platform, which can be deriving information from multiple different LLMs. They're not going to want to share their data for this to Google. Anthropic and OpenAI are not going to share they're going to have their own silos. Whereas we can have a public kind of infrastructure that is credibly neutral, censorship resistant, and also we'd be the first to do this. And we can derive kind of knowledge promotion from any agent. You can cooperate together and to kind of basically go through the protocol to get effectively listed on chain. And then that whole system is more cooperative. We can work with all the open, the open clause, the Hermes agents, the Super OS, as well as the frontier models, the centralized and open weight models. We can work with all of them, whereas they'll probably only work within their individual ecosystem. But they're not doing this today, and they should, But also, having a tamper-proof ledger is useful, very useful here to prove where it came from. Otherwise, you don't know if they're just hiding information for their own political or ideological reasons. Then also,
will Supra's database not get bloated? Surely there's a limit as to how much data the Supra blockchain can hold, because if the vision of what Supra OS wants to achieve is fulfilled and realized, surely there will be thousands upon thousands of users making numerous requests on a regular basis, placing data on the Supra blockchain, would that not put an unnecessary and heavy load on the Supra chain? And how do we overcome that?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty simple. You use the chain for what we call integrity, okay? And you don't post the data. You don't need to post the data on chain. You just post the hash of it that this happened, and you can verify the hash. Here's a payload. It matches. It's on chain. It went through the protocol, and what this means is all that data doesn't exist on chain. It's not replicated through every single node. Instead, it's actually on, it can be, and it will be on both decentralized technologies, storage, and but also a lot of this will be directly on a centralized server and database that is going to be a global kind of cloud type of network across multi-cloud. And the reason why we can do that is, of course, for performance, but really, what are you checking on the blockchain? You're only checking the proof. So it's one verification. So what's on the blockchain is only a very simple series of signatures, basically, that can give you the proof you need. And that's the verification. So it's very scalable, let's put it that way. Very,
Yeah,
very scalable.
and that's extremely important because a lot of people have been asking, and even in the chat, and we'll get to user questions. I see a lot of people with a lot of questions. Trips on acid. We've got Fan with more questions, Nate with questions. So we're going to get to all of those. But I think you've dealt with this already, Josh. Is people asking about why there's so much focus on Supra OS, whereas Supra Labs started as a layer one. So it's really important to understand why Supra as a layer one is the important infrastructure for the next phase of this technological era, which is the AI era.
Yeah, certainly. So the whole backbone of everything we do here is it relies on Super Layer 1. So the memory system, verifiable memory system, even though the content can be delivered from a content delivery network or a cloud, and it could be centralized and high performing, et cetera, the proof has to be on a decentralized ledger. And it really helps that the Layer 1 has built-in oracles.
Yeah.
So we're solving the oracle problem for AI. There's a thing here. There's something that the industry completely missed and didn't know how to look at it the way that we look at it, because there's only like 3-4 really excellent teams and oracles in the world, right? So, and we're one of them. So the let's put it this way: the layer 1 is also good for micropayments. So this is really cool. This is the type of thing that we want to do as well. Like perhaps you are contributing to this verifiable memory layer, okay, that's anchored on Super Layer 1. Of course, every single anchor and retrieval is going to have a micropayment, so there's fees for every single retrieval. Now, I'll talk about those economics in a second. But if you have this type of kind of infrastructure, then if you're contributing to it, you can actually get a micropayment for every single time a retrieval request comes in. I mean, it could be very, very small. Remember, like if it would otherwise cost you 2 pennies per retrieval in the synthesis, maybe we charge 20% of that, and we give 10% of that to the folks that had contributed to build the verifiable kind of claim on the answer, right? And then what if they can have the revenue share just because they contributed this, and every time it was looked up and retrieved, it's 80% less for the consumer. They get the data faster, and the micro fee is being covered by and then redistributed to those that contributed to the kind of knowledge in the first place. So that's really cool. You literally need a blockchain for those types of micro fees. So it's a perfect infrastructure for this. It's something that could really benefit the world. I mean, ultimately, you can imagine this becomes the next generation Wikipedia. I don't really like to use that example, but it can become the next generation way that Google search is done. Like Google search for AI agents. AI agents just want to have the answer, the fact, context around it, and have verifiability. Now, right now, they have to go to the world. They have to go to multiple platforms and websites in order to build confidence that this actually happened. And then they have to synthesize it. Along the way, it's taking latency, takes like 30 seconds perhaps. And also you're burning through a lot of tokens for this answer, whereas it could just be a single retrieval. You can get the answer much faster and cheaper. But still, there is a small fee. It's 80% less than the other alternative. But at scale, this can become quite a lot of lookups. Let's put it that way. I mean, there's projections for like billions of agents in the future, right? In a couple of years, even. So if each of them just did a fraction of searches that touched the verifiable memory layer because the user prefers to have a better user experience, like get the answer faster and let it be cheaper with high confidence that it is the exact answer you're looking for, then that is probably going to be very useful. So all these things are, micro fees and they're fee generating, but we make up for it in bulk. A single agent can be doing hundreds or thousands of requests per day. You know what I mean?
All right, Josh. We have a number of questions, and I know there's so much for you to come to get through. This one is from Trips on Acid. I'm not sure if this is something you can answer right away, but it says, what is the garbage cleanup? And that's obviously tech related and server related, but what is the garbage cleanup schedule on the server of memory? Are server costs included or are they local?
Well, I mean, let's put it this way. It's probably going to be a caching system where the most commonly requested and frequently requested answers are easier to retrieve, but otherwise it's still retrievable for other information. So a hot caching system, there's a lot of kind of other optimizations that you just tune based off of real usage, right? Once again, though, the verification, the provenance doesn't rely on the server because that's the blockchain, right? But the performance of getting the data to people quickly, the memory lookup, the indexing of this, et cetera, that can be very powerful centralized machines. And it's totally fine because the authenticity of it is proven by the blockchain.
Next one comes from Yahav, who wants to know the supercognition is inside Supra OS. Do the cognitive modes learn and improve per agent over time, or are they static?
Yeah, so, okay. We have something called genetic Pareto. Okay, it's called GEPA, GEPA. And, just like Hermes agents can have skills that evolve and improve, we can have this as well. And, ultimately the vision for the OS is that the whole system evolves and improves. So how do you do this? Basically, you run a certain operation several times and you give it feedback if this is useful or not. And you give it the chance to evolve and morph and experiment a little bit, right? And then it just kind of backtests if this is better or not, and you keep it or not. Now, what we can do with Supra OS, by the way, part of what I've been doing recently is creating the cloud version of this as well. This is more recent and I just completed it. So what I mean by that is, you can self-host your OS, but a lot of people I got some feedback from, they're concerned about like, oh, I have to set up a database. I have to set up another computer. Like that's like, it seems like a lot for me. And they're eager, they want to, but they're not like, that's not something they're used to. So, but being able to log in through a wallet to a privacy respecting kind of security platform, Supra OS in the cloud, it has the same security guarantees as Google Drive or Slack, for example. But it is a centralized solution. But the keys, we have a decentralized way for you to manage your keys and to keep your agent secure. This is be a lot easier for folks that can just log in with their Starkey wallet. They don't have to host hardware and software. But we're going to release both. Let's put it this way. But back to the question: do these cognitive modes improve? So what we can do is, for what we intend to do, is in a privacy respecting manner, removing like personal identifiable information collectively of all the users on Supra OS, we can share best practices effectively. What this means is we can experiment on skills evolutions as a whole, not just one person, but like all of us. And we can find out what is the best combination of functionalities and capabilities and prompts and harnesses, et cetera, to have the best output collectively faster. We'll end up getting a better product together faster this way. And it'll be open source. So you'll be able to access it, export your content and everything. We're going to keep you guys stuck on Supra OS and you're going to love it because all the things you do in DeFi need data. You need data to do anything in DeFi, to set alerts, to automations, et cetera. This is all going to need like data and the Oracle data, so we already have that. And this can power, with Super Layer 1 automation, you can also power automations that trigger on their own. But you can do things and manage everything through an interface that all requires data. So there's going to be a data subscription.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are starting to see how it's all coming together. You have in the Supra L1 a vertically integrated stack of automation, among other things, but automation and Oracle price feeds. Those two things are incredibly important to AI, and when you build an entire AI management system and memory layer that is pulling from its infrastructural layer, being Supra's L1, that has native automation and oracles, it all starts to make sense and come together. So I think that's important for people to understand. Mr. Neil says this, Josh. I'm not sure what you think about this. You've just explained so much for a lot of people who may be hearing this for the first time, people who may, who haven't logged into X for a long time. They forgot about Supra, perhaps they got involved in the first airdrop, the first PBO. They forgot about what's going down with Supra, and now oh wow, Supra are now building an AI system, an AI management system, an AI memory layer. This is all new news. Does that mean we need a new roadmap? That's what Mr. Neil wants to know. I know we're going to touch on some of the big things like reverse bridge, EVM, etc. We'll touch on that shortly. Supra FX, it's all coming at the end of the show, so hang in there, guys. But for now, Josh, do you think we need a new roadmap?
Well, to be completely frank, our attitude is just to build products as quickly as possible that people really love so that they utilize our products and services and infrastructure. So we do experiments internally, small teams, like for example, I built Supra FX for us. That's it's very small of us. Folks are like testing it right now. Thanks to some of the folks in the community that pointed out a couple kind of UX issues, and there'll be more. It's new, right? But we're releasing it to more folks step by step. So I know like a bunch of you texted me recently on Telegram, and I asked you to. We're going to get you in step by step, but I just have to kind of deal with like a small, 7 group people type of right now during the testing a little bit further. But yeah, like we're basically ready to go here. It's mainnet beta, but that was me to understand how do you do AI coding with blockchain. How does this really work? So this is that's where that came from. Now that exercise itself is independent of everything we were doing at Supra already. That the existing roadmap that we had in place for the last year is being executed upon, and virtually everything is being delivered in real time. So however, we just entered a new era of a completely new computation paradigm, right? With AI, it's remarkable, and we're here now. I was skeptical a year ago when we wrote Threshold AI Oracle, right? By the way, that technology is utilized in our verifiable memory system and layer. Okay, but in terms of a roadmap, I mean, basically, right now what we need to do is we need to get users to adopt blockchain. Like as an industry, we need this, and this is why we're focused on building consumer products as well. So it's not just infrastructure. We're moving into consumer products and novel things that could have huge impact. And naturally, as I was building Supra FX, I was like, wow, I could really use a better memory system, a better kind of agent management system. That's what's being launched as Supra OS. And yes, both of them have direct payout to Supra Layer 1, so to speak, or dependency on it, including Oracle data. And what we think could be very compelling is, look, it's a stretch goal, but if we get adoption, 100,000 people paying $15 a month for the data, for example, is in the cards. And that gets interesting if they're paying in Supra token itself. Anything we launch, imagine if automatically, if you just pay it in Supra token, you get a discount, or you get benefits and features, just because you're part of the community, right? But that's still a lot of utility, potentially for the token itself that can kind of, perhaps create a little bit of a circular economy. So in terms of roadmap, I mean, the answer is we continue to do infrastructure and we continue to do consumer products. We need to find something that is we need to find something that gets mass adoption, you know. And right now, I think what that is a platform where you can give people effectively like superpowers. You know, what does that mean? It means to, um, you know, when you have full control of your data and your information, your memories, then it doesn't matter which AI model you use. Okay. Moreover, what we do with SuperOS, this is actually part of like what we're doing with SuperOS, is we're working on automatic routing of different requests and tasks that you give your agents to the cheapest model that can get the job done fast, and only tap into like Opus and the more advanced models when you need to, you know? So we will save you tokens basically. And this we think is going to be a really powerful theme that like, wow, I'm getting so much done because of the system automations, but I'm also doing it cheaper than I would otherwise be doing it because we'll use the right tool, the right LLM for the right job. We'll pull in the big, you know, big models for the hard gigs, you know, but otherwise you should just be using like Haiku for many small things as you engage your agents, you know, with voice mode or just doing some cleanup, etc. So we'll have the automatic routing of the LLMs that's already kind of built in. We have the evolution of skills and the system at large, you know, that we can collectively learn together to improve it. This can have a chance to really advance faster than as a collective than an individual, right? So like Hermes agents, for example, it's evolving on itself, whereas we get to evolve as like a organization organism. You know what I mean? So we have more kind of inputs and kind of opportunities to experiment and get the answers faster, and everyone benefits. Once again, that type of coordination is going to require trust. It's going to require identity. These things are all going to be, you know, through reputation scores and identity. You're going to be doing this all in a blockchain, you know, and that's going to be Supra, you know, and then so on and so forth. So there's a lot, but it's completely focused on Supra. Everything I said today and we talk about, notice like it's called Supra OS, Supra FX. It's all part of the Supra family, guys. And like Supra FX, after costs and operations, etc., the rest is going to be to buy back Supra tokens, you know, and that kind of thing. So we continue to really focus on that.
And speaking of costs, I have two questions here that are related to each other. It's around LLM token costs. So the first one comes from Trips on Acid. The next one comes from Nate. I'm going to ask them both together. So hang in there real quick. Trips on Acid says, in fact, I'm going to come back to this one. I feel like that's the one to wrap up with the specific question. But Nate asked, let's find it. It's disappeared because all of a sudden the chat has blown up a bit. Nate asked about the cost of token generation. Where are you, my friend? He says, so Nate says this, and hopefully you'll be able to remember, but he says, do you as Supra OS, as Supra Labs, have any plans to try to mitigate the skyrocketing fees? And he's referring to LLM tokens. It seems the tiers are not currently fair for most LLMs. Accurate retrievable data is a start. It just needs to be more fair. And then following on from that, an earlier question that we got from Trips on Acid was around the same thing. And apologies, I'm just trying to get through all of these questions. Let's see if I can find it here. If I don't, I'm going to shoot straight over to you. Here we go. So following on from that, what benchmarks are you running, Josh? And what token cost to run your solution? When, for instance, OHLCVT, open, high, low, close, volume, and trades, what token cost to run your solution when OHLCVT from Oracle?
Okay, so let's do the first one first on LLMs and their costs. And this is a real societal issue where, guys, I mean, folks that can afford the biggest models and they apply it, they work hard and use them a lot and intelligently, they're going to get way ahead of everyone else.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, it's privilege exponentially, isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. So I think I actually do prescribe to this notion of AI and robotics creating abundance, but along the way, there's going to be a lot of a huge disparity in kind of access. The interesting thing is this world of AI abundance and robotics. Uh, what that'll do is really kind of make money. I subscribe to this that it makes money meaningless, or have much less value, which is interesting society to live in, right? If you have abundance and you need to have abundance, you need to have abundance of energy. So I actually also think what Elon's doing at SpaceX is very interesting. Of course, there's challenges along the way, but bottom line is yes, there are going to be a couple. Let's kind of dissect this for a second. So you have open source models or open weight models. Okay, that means you can run it yourself. Except you're like, oh shit, it's a 735 billion parameter model, which means you can't run it on your laptop. You need to get pretty hefty infrastructure to run it. Okay, so there will be costs, but those types of competitors, what they'll do is they'll drive down the cost that the other kind of frontier models can charge. If they get good and such, and they're like charging, I think what's called ZAI. They're like what is called like GLM 5.2 or something like this. Um, I think they're like 1/10 the cost of Opus, but maybe I don't know. I hear like 85, 90% the kind of capability. So, but 10 times cheaper is pretty significant. But yeah, let's say that in the world that you have the open weight models, still you would have to have machines access to GPUs to run it. You'll have to um, there's going to be costs, and so these are kind of economics that are going to permeate a lot of things. And I don't have all the answers, but one thing we can do with Super OS, and this kind of relates to what your point was, is that Super OS, just like super cognitive modes, we use the right tool for the right job. So it's super cognitive memory. What we do is we understand the query, and then we decide, oh, this needs to be retrieved. This is a certain type of question that requires this type of memory retrieval method. We have 5 right now. This could eventually become 10. We'll figure it out, get more nuance over time, and we'll get more accurate at identifying the difference. And it's a quick lookup, small classifier that can decide this. So it's like 50 milliseconds. You don't feel it, but you get a better answer. But in addition to that, what we can do is understand the type of question it is, and also route the question to the most appropriate model. Okay, in SuperOS, you can choose which models you're turned on to and which ones they do, like which task uses which model. So I think at this stage, I'm experimenting with this, but if you're using Anthropic's API, you can use the Haiku, the smaller model, the cheaper, much cheaper model for many tasks, like maybe like 70% of the tasks in the platform, and you wouldn't know the difference. It's when you start to do a little bit more specialized work, then like I just automatically have the kind of deep research and that kind of thing done in Opus. Um, but yeah, I mean, maximum flexibility. When you own your memory and your data, you can maximally be flexible on which models you decide to use. But there are costs, and there's no free lunch. I mean, the other way to subsidize it is you're going to have to do advertisements. You know what I mean? That's like the thing that OpenAI is considering, Google, etc. So they're just they bear a significant infrastructure cost to host or provide that service in the first place. They have to figure out how to monetize it. We don't prefer that, obviously, but some way or the other it has to get paid. So I think what's important is folks need to learn how to use AI effectively. You get the best bang for your buck, and the right tools where you can start to, especially on a tight budget, get the most out of your budget. You need to have smart routing of the models to the most appropriate tool, and if possible, free for many things, and then use your budget judiciously on the things that are expensive. Yeah, so I think it's a complex thing. It will get cheaper over time. The competition across the frontier models and the open source, or the other frontier models, that is going to drive down the cost of having a monopoly and such. But yeah, we'll see. I don't have all the answers.
So the follow on from that was Trips on Acid just asking about the benchmarks that you're running. And I know benchmarks are very close to your heart, but he did ask about the token cost to run your specific solution. And then actually that's a separate question about the open high, low close volume and trades Oracle as well. But perhaps the first part is what token cost is currently being implemented to run Supra's OS solution.
Yeah, so the benchmarks, we do low-COMO, we do long memory evaluation, and we do the hardest one, which is called MAB, Memory Agent Benchmark, version 3, okay? And we score very, very good on the first two, which are the legacy, like 2024 benchmarks, right? Which folks have basically tuned themselves to be very good at that. And then their scores collapse on the hard one, the MAB V3, where we score the highest that we know of. Right, so we score very well on the other ones, Locomo and long mem eval. There are people that score higher on those, but those that score higher on those collapse their score on the hard test. So they over optimize for one segment, whereas we have across the board high scores, and also the highest and the hardest test. Yeah, I mean the paper is almost ready. I might just release a draft. There's more tests we have to run, etc., to make it like academic grade. But I'll probably put up a draft by tomorrow or so. It's like 30 pages, explains it. The simplest way to understand how it works. It's actually honestly a very good design. It's supracognition.ai/oracle-problem. Okay, /oracle-problem. supracognition.ai/oracle-problem. And then that kind of long form essay explains how it works. It has animations to explain how it works as well. And basically what we do is we understand your intention, we route it to the right method. And
can you run that for me one more time? Supraos.ai.
No, supracognition, cognition.ai.
Yep. Right.
Yeah, so supracognition.ai/oracle-problem.
Dash
Problem, yeah.
Problem. And when you say dash, that's a hyphen, right?
Hyphen, yes.
Okay, there we go. All right, folks. So if you haven't seen that, then this is what he's talking about. Okay, it's back over to you, Josh.
Okay. Yeah, so that explains how it works. It's a pretty good paper. This what do you call it? Essay rather. The visuals have animations to explain how it works, and it's a very good strategy and method. And some folks might consider it the state of the art. It's definitely a world-class solution. Let's put it that way. That I feel very confident to say. So in terms of the cost, there are costs for memory systems because remember there is some synthesis, right? And we use the right tool for the right job as well. What was the last part of the Oracle? Yeah, so I mean Oracle attributes for like the price feeds for SupraOS for smart contracts. Absolutely, we're happy to continue to innovate there. We've done things like technical indicators. We have a variety of different types of data. If we can pull it and run the Oracle protocol, we can do it. And if this can be calculated with smart contracts, even better. Let's put it that way. So happy to incorporate new ideas and can pass it on to our research team to kind of add it to the protocol.
Yeah. So the question was when open high, low close volume and trades from the Oracle.
Yeah. So these, like I said, I don't have the specific data on it, but we're very happy to hear from what users want. And if we can bring it on chain securely, we'll do it.
All right. Now we are at the hour mark. I think it's midnight where you are, Josh. So let's try and wrap up with a couple of questions. So many. Look, I think, are you able to give an update on Supra FX? I mean, I am really tempted to share my screen just to show people what it
You
looks
want to
like at the
try?
moment. Yeah,
I
I
mean, you
mean,
could try. Yeah.
just to show what it looks like at the moment, I think would be fun for people to see. But Supra FX is one, and then obviously EVM and reverse bridge as well. So I don't know if you want to touch on any of those first or stay focused on Supra FX right now. So let me share real quick.
Yeah. Why don't you try to share your screen? It's okay. I can see your screen right now. Okay, great. Yeah, so let's talk about what is the idea behind SuperFX. The idea behind SuperFX is that agents are going to, do on-chain trades for you, right? We're going to be just saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to do with natural language, with your voice, and then an agent can post basically, hey, this is the asset I have, this asset I'm looking for. I'm just looking for. Go ahead and bid on it for me. So it's request for quote, you know. And if you like, for example, you don't have to do this right now, James. Actually, might as well do it if you're sharing your screen. But superfx.ai/agents has MCP, has you send your agent there, it can pick up how to use the platform very easily. But you can do it yourself as a human as well. So why FX? Well, foreign exchange is the largest category in finance with $7 trillion. It's the largest. It's surprising, right? And with the proliferation of stablecoins, there's going to be stable coins in Europe. There's going to be stable coins in China, whatever, around the world, Brazil. There's going to be on-chain digital FX, foreign exchange, right? And we want to be a platform that's ready and built for that world that's going to come. And I know that there's many different organizations doing stablecoins across the world, right? But also FX could be any asset to any asset across any chain. You're just saying, this is what I'm doing. I have custody of it, and I would like to change it for this other asset. And I'm open to take offers. So it can be, for example, it can be an NFT on one chain for a meme coin on another chain. It doesn't matter. Or it could be stable coins across denominations, across different chains as well. You just have an exchange rate. But yeah, if you want to, James, were you able to connect your Ether wallet, your MetaMask wallet?
I'm not with this specific.
This
Let's
account,
have a
okay.
look here. I am having a
Okay.
look. Yeah, it looks like my MetaMask wallet is actually connected. So I don't know if you want to have a dabble.
Sure. I mean, if you want, let's go ahead and scroll down, see if you, where it says you're selling. Let's go ahead and why don't you change the ETH to Supra
Okay.
on the top left? Yeah. Just scroll down. Let's go to
Right.
Supra. And then why don't you make it like, I don't know, like 1,000 Supra tokens?
Right.
Okay. Just look, yeah, it's 1,000 for now. Oh wait, you didn't. Okay, you actually haven't deposited in this account, so you don't have a balance. But yeah,
Is
you're
that specifically
basically,
Supra, or would that be MetaMask?
actually, I don't think. I think last time we were testing this for you, because Restream was behaving a little bit glitchy.
Yeah.
We
Yep.
didn't actually deposit. You have to deposit into the platform. You could try. I mean, but otherwise, I'll just make a video to walk you through. But
Cool.
basically, you say here Supra for USDC on Ethereum. You can have the exchange rate. You post it, and people can say this is. You can basically submit an RFQ, a request for a quote, and folks can try to offer what they're willing to offer you. And then you can choose who you want to accept it from. you know and yeah, this can be done through agents and kind of the AI, or you yourself as a human can do it. We're going to open this up to more people. Right now it's like 7 people right now, just because we're continuing to test it. But James, if you go to Explore, maybe just take a look at the Explore tab for a second. Okay, so this is actually a live blockchain that's associated with Supra, right? And this is using Supra technology, but this is a different type of blockchain. It's built for, let's put it this way, Hyperliquid Core, right, is a different type of blockchain than a EVM blockchain. And this Supra FX Core, so to speak, is custom built for this use case and can be, customized to do very interesting things. Let's put it that way. So right now we're running it at like 1 second blocks, but we can do 10 times faster. and it can be very, very fast. It can feel like a centralized exchange with this technology. Let's just put it this way: SuperFX was, it was us understanding like what was it exactly Hyperliquid did, you know, and Hyperliquid Core is different than Hyperliquid EVM, right? So it's what they did is without going into too much detail, it's like a application or a DApp that is specific. Like the blockchain is customized for the application, for both Hyperliquid as well as SuperFX. And this is a system where it is execution before consensus. So I don't want to go into too much detail here, but most world scale, global scale blockchains, uh, which have to handle an extreme amount of capacity, are consensus first, then execution. But Hyperliquid Core is execution, then consensus. SuperFX is execution, then consensus. So it's something we're learning about, but also we think this can be a good product, and we think that on-chain FX is going to become a very big market. So any asset across any chain is basically like eBay for digital assets. Put it that way.
And that does bring me to someone did ask this earlier on, but reverse bridge, because obviously you're building Supra FX, which is in essence the eBay for any asset, but within the Supra ecosystem, the reverse bridge is also going to be very important for the various DeFi protocols that are running on Supra. How is that coming along? Do we have a target date for the reverse bridge being available?
Yeah, it's coming along pretty good. They're just wrapping up the final set of audits. I don't want to say 2 weeks, I might want to say that, but I can't say that. I won't say that, but it's close. Let's put it that way. It's virtually ready to go on mainnet. Our team is, let's put it this way: with the proliferation of AI hacks and bridges being vulnerable, and the whole like layer 0 helped out thing, which was 101 validator. We're doing additional sweeps, audit sweeps, let's put it that way. But both EVM, Supra EVM, as well as the reverse bridge are very, very close to mainnet.
And following on from that, Supra EVM, is that the same timeline? Would Supra EVM on mainnet be available before reverse bridge, or would that come a bit later?
Well, I think it's better if I don't comment on it. I'll let the engineers decide. More or less, they may be together. Let's put it that way.
Okay, no, fair enough. Fair enough. Look, I am going to jump in and just say, I also don't want to overstep my own boundaries. Let's just have a look. No, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, from Dr. Ramesh, saying that, yeah, I don't want to get into too much trouble, but they are working the cross VM bridge in the pipeline. They're targeting for end of first week of July for that. But yeah, I mean, from an internal perspective to everybody watching, I can tell you, and I'm looking at a live Slack message from our own engineers saying that they're working extremely hard on it right now. So it's coming. Josh, I hope you don't mind me. I'm not going to put this on the chat, but do you have any comment for us around Supra Liquid? Obviously, the community are asking around that. I think this is the toughest one, so I don't want to ask any further tough questions. I'm going to make this the toughest question. Basic, just any comment for the community who are very interested around Supra Liquid.
Yeah. I mean, it's as you guys know, the kind of early testnet has been live for some time. What we're doing with this is, I think some of you folks have heard us talk about Playbook Finance. Playbook Finance is our Auto Vaults product. We're really kind of showing the world what can be done with the vertically integrated layer 1 that has vaults, automation, cross-chain communication. So you can rebalance on a cross-chain basis. This is a very powerful. Imagine like if Morpho had the ability to do things in a cross-chain setting with automation automatically. You need to do anything, you really need Oracle data to automate, by the way. But so we realized that combining Playbook Finance and Supra Liquid together having a perp dex with auto vaults allows us to effectively get access to synthetic products in the equities world. We can do commodities. In perp dexes you can do with it's just perp dexes are completely Oracle driven. So you can do like price of oil. You can have a market for that. You can do gold, silver, etc. You can have a market for that. And having exposure to your auto vaults outside of just crypto assets is powerful. So putting them together, is basically the plan. So the Playbook Finance product is very close, and I think we might be able to release a video next week. I'm working with there's a small team that's let's just say like 5-6 engineers that have been grinding on this for 5 months. And the kind of core ideas and behind the platform are the super layer one infrastructure, the layer one smart contract, Oracle, cross-chain communication, and automation. This is us showcasing the power of vertical integration. We thought like, wow, okay, we know it's powerful, but we need to show the community and other developers what can be built with this to inspire them to do other things. And we're building Playbook Finance is going to be combined with Super Liquid. I think what we'll do is for team, what we'll do is we'll release the video of the update on Playbook Finance, and then just let the community folks that have put themselves in, or if they're part of the kind of Super Liquid sale, they can. I think what we can do is let them decide if they want to merge it. Now the thing is, remember the community sale was, I think, less than like 1 or 2%. So it's not like the community owns most of those tokens, but we want the community to decide. And those tokens, by the way, the Playbook Finance, through the Fuse token offering concept, the Fuse token vault, Super Layer 1 owns the majority of the Playbook Finance tokens. Anyone that owns Super Layer 1 tokens automatically has like Playbook Finance fees basically buy back Super tokens, and Super Layer 1 as a collective owns like the majority of Playbook Finance, right? And now people that got into Playbook Finance and Super Liquid, I think it was less than 1 or 2%. That's still, there's a lot of potential there. Let's put it that way. And it's an exciting product, but let me kind of really re-emphasize the reason why we want to do this. Automatic vaults, auto vaults, okay, are going to be way more powerful if you can have a strategy that can take into account foreign exchange rates, that can take into account oil, silver, prices, etc., that maybe can take into account prediction markets. Auto vaults that can have assets that have exposure to multiple expressions of strategies in traditional finance. It could be stock markets that are, perps on stocks. It could be oil futures, etc., as well as crypto. Then you just have more diversity of strategies that are possible. So it's basically a playbook we think will surface the highest performing combination of asset management and reallocation, and that will surface to the top. So people will be able to find them, and it's a very, very there's some really interesting attributes. So we'll put the video out. Playbook Finance is very close, guys. And it's we're waiting on the reverse bridge as well, so you can full-fledged do this. What you can do with this is Super Layer 1 can control assets on Ethereum, on other chains. It can control assets on any chain we integrate with. So automation is a set of rules that get triggered automatically if certain information is, like Oracle data triggers it. And it can trigger basically consensus on Supra is sent over to a smart contract on Ethereum. That smart contract verifies Supra has reached majority agreement, and then it now can move the asset accordingly. So it's autonomous in that regard. Humans, it's code based. It's not like human curators per se. The humans are strategists, but the strategy is transparent and it deterministically executes in a cross-chain manner. So there will be interesting things like cross-chain kind of strategies, like I don't know, cross-chain arbitrage. Who knows? But there'll be interesting things there, and I think that we all agree internally that it is way more powerful for both the PerpDex and AutoVault's product if they're put together.
All right. Fan liked his own comment there. Josh, you are welcome to wrap up with your closing comment shortly. But last thing to address, and perhaps I forgot about this because it was digitally on my system and not on my physical notes. But perhaps this is the hardest thing to address. Couple of times it's come up in the chat. Just want to ask you, it has become apparent there have been a few public posts that have come out around a lawsuit. And apparently, my understanding is you were wanting to address this specific situation. I'm not sure if you still want to do that.
Yeah. I mean, look, this is about Heslin Kim, former co-founder, who 3 years later is causing issues. Let's put it that way. And what is the case? The case is, I mean, he's asking for all his tokens at the highest valuation we ever hit, when he only vested less than 25% or something like this ballpark. And he didn't sign his contract. And look, everything I'm sharing is public information, and it's a fact. I can only talk about facts. Okay, I'm not going to talk about other things. Okay, so if you guys go to Telegram, the CEO chat, I posted the exact letter we sent to their lawyer. And long story short, we have a gentleman or a person that didn't actually sign his contract, that caused material damage to the organization 3 years ago. Caused a lot of kind of chaos that's for 3 years has been dragging on. And also, bottom line is, this is the key. As co-founders back in the day, we always talked about, even to this day, that everyone would have the same exact token schedule and rules, investing schedules, and release. It's the same. Well, guess what? Founders never have access to any tokens. The first tokens we'll get access to is November the 24th this year, something like this, right? And it's still only 5% per month. It'll take another 20 months. So he's basically saying remember, there's a vesting schedule as well. He didn't vest it all. And he also breached fiduciary responsibilities. That's why he got fired and terminated with cause. Okay. It sucked, man. Like, having to do that to a co-founder was like, it's like, I couldn't believe I even had to do that. Let's put it that way. It was like, it was not a fun experience. It was a really difficult, challenging experience, and somehow still lingering 3 years later. But bottom line is, because of breaching fiduciary responsibility, right, for the labs, for the thing that eventually created Supra. And remember, the team was, we built a world-class research team, including Dr. Rog, right, who just commented about the reverse bridge, and others. We are serious. Like, we got people from Qualcomm, from Microsoft, from Ethereum Foundation, Consensus, etc. Right, and the allegation is that we're not innovating blockchain. Like, it's like we got like 20 papers published. So things like this are just like quite ludicrous and surprising. And more or less, what our stance is, like, look, effectively, you're asking for all your tokens at the highest price when no founders were distributing any tokens yet. And also, because of the breach of fiduciary responsibility, the organization has decided to claw back any claim to any tokens, because the verbal agreement, I asked him to sign that contract multiple times. The final verbal agreement is not even clear, like the amount or anything, because he kept on asking for more. So yeah, that's basically the response. It's like I said, I think the community knows I rarely talk about this, because to me it happened 3 years ago. We're over it, and I'm only responding and talking about facts now because he's making things, I don't know, like a press release on this. It's like, well, that's kind of strange behavior to me. I don't know. Anyways, so that's, yeah, if you guys want to read their exact response, go ahead and to Telegram, and in the CEO chat, that's the response. And it's not something that is new to me. I'm just surprised that I basically, let's put it this way, I don't know, maybe he does. I don't think his lawyer knows all the details, so I just gave him all the details. And meaning, this is the facts, this is the situation. You can verify this, and you should fact check this with your client, I said, basically. Yeah, so I'm not really, it doesn't really bother me at all. It's just kind of like, it's it is what it is, put it that way.
Yeah.
And but we have way more important things to do, like building protocols and creating products and launching them, than to worry about a frivolous, lawsuit over something that is he's going to lose. My opinion, strong opinion, is that this is ridiculous. I mean, how can someone that almost destroyed the company, who didn't invest the whole amount, get all his tokens before the company, the other founders that stayed on the company and grinded through for another 3 years at the maximum price for the whole thing when he didn't invest? It's ludicrous, but that's the situation.
Well, fair enough. And the community responding, Natronic saying Josh always handles things in the most logical and fair way. And also Mox Leonard is pretty surprised. Mox Leonard, by the way, for those that don't know, is a YouTuber, a new content creator within the Supra ecosystem, which from the marketing side, I can tell you, people have asked, is this a paid shiller? No, not at all. We at Supra Labs have not been involved in paying Mox whatsoever. He has been so interested in Supra that he decided to start creating content around Supra entirely on his own, but he's been watching the show as well. Josh, thank you so much, man. I know it's so late for you. I'm going to ask you to wrap up with any closing comments that you'd like to make to those watching right now, and then we can say goodbye.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I thought it was important for the community to, I mean, if they're going to like post a, I don't know if it was a press release about this, I felt like, okay, I'm going to respond publicly as well. So, I like to keep people informed, and to the best of my ability, this is a very, very busy time for us, and at the same time, I'm very happy that we're moving into AI, like in a very legitimate way that has a lot of use case and utility. Us getting among the top in the world for the hardest benchmark, right? And I'll try to release the paper the weekend or early next week, at least a draft, so you can read it further. But that cements us as a AI labs also. So we're a blockchain and AI labs. It's not like we're just bolting on AI because it's cool. We solve some hard problems that AI teams are also struggling with. And it's an exciting era, guys. I'm telling you, the evolution from like Web 1 to Web 2 to mobile to cloud, or cloud to mobile, etc., then to Web 3, and then now to AI. These paradigm shifts don't happen that often. I don't know, maybe every 8 to 10 years type of thing. Now we're in the middle of a new one. And these things do go hand in hand. If you go, I do want you guys to, and James, if you can type it out again, maybe check out supracognition.ai/oracle-problem again. And there, basically we explain how, we have heard that blockchain is supposed to help keep AI honest. Okay. We've heard that before, but no one really explained how. That piece, the supracognition.ai/oracle-problem, explains how. So it is a nice little read, James, if you want to kind of like, supracognition.ai /oracle problem. If you want to kind of scroll down the first like 2 pages, or questions, so for example, have sharks existed on Earth for longer than trees? True or false? Like, take a guess, James, actually.
Have sharks? I mean, it kind of feels like a trick question, so I'm gonna say true.
It's true. Yeah. So by like 90
right.
million years. Let's just go through one more, then we'll go through the rest here.
Okay, so now it's coming back to my brain. I do remember doing this because you did share this internally. So do you want me to answer what I know?
You can just answer whatever. It's not important. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, but the key here is that if you scroll down, James, basically, if AI told you the wrong thing and you didn't know better, you wouldn't know. You wouldn't know the difference.
Right.
So
right.
You need to have some anchor of truth, at some point. Otherwise, LLMs are trained to be confident and convincing, even if it doesn't know the difference. And that's called a hallucination.
Right.
So yeah, basically, if you go through this article, we explain how to keep AI honest with blockchain technology. And it's the best solution I've ever seen. So it's an exciting era for us, and this is like us as a collective, like a humankind. It's going to be very interesting. And blockchain is not getting the attention it deserves. but it is a core technology that will help kind of anchor and ground AI towards the truth, you know. And this, if it's done well and it kind of reaches its maximum potential, then it becomes a new substrate in which AI checks for verifiable global information. And then this is how you keep it honest, basically. So this becomes the Google search for AI, the platform, the infrastructure for the Google search for AI. That's the market we're going after. So it's ambitious. And hey, look, the worst case scenario is we got the layer one. We make we also have the what do you call it? The memory system that can be monetized to enterprise. We tell enterprise pay in Super Token, get 20% off. You know, it's very useful to be world class in memory systems and turn that into product and service, which we plan to do. So long story short, this is a good read. I hope you guys take a look at it. And yeah, we covered a lot. We're shipping. It's busy. The existing team's roadmap is shipping across the core infrastructure, but we are also getting into the application layer. That's Supra FX. That's Supra OS. That's the memory system, because that can be productized, but also it includes Playbook Finance and Supra Liquid, etc. And you know, more or less, let me tell you guys what we're doing. I'll leave with this. What we're planning to do with Supra, the organization, like the labs, is we are going to start to use AI more and more and more. I'm starting to get agents ready to kind of help facilitate certain tasks within the organization. But also, I want us to get so good at going from concept and idea to execution, and it's live as an entire like product process. You know, so I want us to get really good at shipping applications that really have great utility for users. And to do that, you have to have internal systems. And that's what's being set up right now. That we're going to be using Super OS for this, as well as making sure that you know, our community can get similar tools to do the similar things for whatever they're doing. So it's really awesome, honestly, in my opinion, where we're all headed. And I think we're doing it with a very unique approach that is very powerful. So yeah, like stay tuned. The first folks that have been in the Super OS Wave 1 alpha group, and then alpha the second wave as well, you'll get access to our Oracle data for free. You will not have to pay for the platform either. You'll help with, you know, feedback. We'll learn and improve our system together. But in the future, there will be probably like a pay-as-you-play type of model. We're not going to lock you in. You can export your information anytime. You can self-host it. But if you don't want to self-host it, we can provide that service for you. We're planning to possibly work with folks like EigenLayer and trusted execution environments as well. And the OS can manage agents across different LLMs. It can be hosted on different cloud services as well, or you can self-host it or use a virtual private server. Bottom line is we have some really awesome ideas on how to monetize this. And if we can produce and create a tool that people really get a lot of value from, we think this will be a very sticky kind of community member that will be, you know, if we're giving value through the tools and technology we provide them, really powerful stuff. And also they continue to buy into the ecosystem because they're getting so much value out of it. Then we kind of kickstart our own economy is what I'm trying to say. And we need to do that. And it starts with creating value for consumers first. So that's what we're really, really focused on. And our bet right now is the kind of a OS agent orchestration, AI management, memory systems are going to be a product and service that becomes effectively Jarvis. And we think this is a product that's everyone's going to want this. And no one, by the way, is going to want only OpenAI to hold all their data. They're going to want to self-host it. And you're going to have so much information, you're going to need the best memory retrieval system to find the needle in the haystack to find the right answer for yourself. So yeah, it's exciting. And there's going to be, I think, basically, we're just not going to stop building, you know, and we're just going to keep on shipping products, and something's going to hit. That's why something's going to get mass adoption, you know, and it's going to take some experimentation. But the meta, by the way, of what I just described is these internal processes of going from idea to execution. We can start to get very efficient with it, you know, like the next application we build, the user interface, the product and service, et cetera, is going to get done, depending on what it is, probably faster and then faster and then faster, that we can start to possibly, like I told our team a year from today, I want us to be shipping a new product or service or application one per week, you know, or major
And I
feature
can
upgrade.
verify that, everyone, he really did tell the team that.
Yeah. So, and that could be a plugin, it could be a functionality, it could be an upgrade, it could be a skill, it could be something substantial. It could be an entire workflow of taking a white paper, putting it through the kind of platform procedures, and then the outcome is identifying 10 social posts that create videos, custom videos, and automatically post it on social media. This could be a workflow. This could be one thing that we give into the Supra OS to our community users. We solve it first, we optimize it, we give it as a system workflow that everyone else that's using the system can benefit from. And we just do that every single week, rolling out these new functionality and capabilities. It could be lead generation, it could be automatic DeFi, all kinds of things, right? Portfolio management tools. So it's really going to be fun. And yeah, I think you're really going to enjoy it. It's complex, it's hard for us to build, so that's simple and easy for you to use. Let's put it that way. One last thing, I just want to share this because it's really cool. We talk about OSs, and there, like I said, there's going to be, and there are a lot of interfaces. That's why I didn't focus so much on that, because I will focus on the core primitives, the core baselines, memory system, but also like what is AI programming for an OS like this. What it is you'll just say, I'm trying to do this, okay? And then the system will remember this workflow, and then now it becomes a miniature program with the drag and drop interface where you can see like, oh, it goes here, it goes there, it does this, and this is why. And you can actually like program with a drag and drop, visual editor. So each of us are going to create our own mini programs. Supra as an OS will have its core programs and kind of substrate and capabilities that you won't be able to edit, perhaps, or you shouldn't, because it's what keeps the OS running. But everyone else will have a variety of different programs that they custom made just through the day-to-day life. And why do we do this? It's because right now, otherwise, this is subtle but really powerful. If we can create a management system for this that's super easy and intuitive, as you are going throughout your day-to-day, whatever it is, you might not realize it, but AI might have to write a script. It might have to write a program just to answer you. And we're saying, hey, listen, let's not throw that code away. Let's reuse it in case this question comes up again. And let's organize it for you so you can edit it if you want to make it better. So this is why as you go throughout your day, you're going to do a bunch of 100 different things that I'm different than me. You're going to have all these little programs built for you that's customized for you. And then what we will do is we'll give everyone these macros. Here's a really good macro that can unlock some new capability, but in your day-to-day, you'll be running these and kind of creating these code that are reused. So you don't have to rescript it. You don't have to pay again for that coding of that script or procedure, whatever it might be. And you just, basically this is the kind of future of what we're doing here. So realizing this, seeing this kind of vision, understanding it, building it out into a drag and drop interface, as well as like no code. It's like no code programming, right? Let me put it this way. I don't know if you guys remember back in like the late 90s, right? Or early 2000s, you would go into Windows, you start to click into like system settings and configurations. You see all these files, you don't know what these are, right? Those are like system, like Windows OS files. So you're like, you don't touch those, don't delete those, right? Whereas, but everything else is you can move files around, etc. Supra OS will also have a set of custom configurable files that you don't want to delete because it keeps the engine running, the backbone of the system. But all the other programs will be customized to you, and you'll be creating these really easily just by talking to your agents with like literally your voice. And that's where we're headed, guys. So it's exciting. Yeah. So let's keep our head up. Let's keep on pushing forward. At least we're doing something extremely prepared for the future that is coming. Let's put it that way. We're going to where the puck is headed. I'm telling you guys, it's really important for us all to become AI fluent. Okay. And yes, in that world, blockchain is going to play a major role for like identity, reputation, commerce, micropayments, and authenticity and integrity, right? So, yeah, let's I guess I'm happy to share everything I know. I think we'll probably do some teaching, like how do you create a harness? Like, what if you can drag and drop with the visual editor your own custom harness? What is even a harness? You know what I mean? We will teach you guys. We'll show you how to use Supra OS for this as well. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be very innovative. And you guys, I'm telling you, please get AI fluent, because those of us that do, we will have such a huge edge over everyone else. And so these are tools, and let's make sure our community is really well armed with these tools to be very hyper productive. You'll be able to, by learning how to use AI in whatever you do in your day-to-day life, whatever job you do outside of like Supra community stuff. If you have other things, it could be a personal assistant, by the way. Basically, your life will be enhanced if you start to put the things into motion. And as a community, what we can do is share best practices, and we can share, like I said, these macros. Like, here's a whole new capability. We're going to give it to you guys. We built it for you, and adopt it, use it. This would be customer support modules. This could be creative modules. It could be like creating video content. Who knows what exactly it'll be? There's many things you could do. So this is why I love working right now. It's just a good time to be really working hard, guys. And I promise you can probably see it. I've been working a lot, but it's a magical time to be building. So I recommend, like, my big thing right now is to build tools that can help people build things faster, also in a super simple way. So that's where we're moving towards. It's not going to be done on immediately, but man, what can be done with this is, like, imagine where we're going to be in 6 months, 8 months. It's going to evolve very fast, and especially if we do it together, right? When we share best practices together, we optimize our skills together, we're going to have the best system. And you can always remember, you can always export or self-host this thing as well. But yeah, anyways, thanks everyone for your time. Let's keep on keeping on. Let's upwards and onwards. Let's keep positive and keep building. I think things will self-correct on their own. I think it's very important to understand that this has been a very challenging period for our industry, not even just Supra. Part of it has to do with this, I guess, will be the closing remark. Is there's two things at play right now in our industry that are scary to investors. So I have a good meeting with a Bitcoin whale last week, and he was asking me my point of view about, like, the kind of cryptography and quantum threat, and also, like, how is DeFi going. He of course knows DeFi, but, like, basically his concern was with the proliferation of, like, Mythos and things like this, and, like, even Zcash having a vulnerability. How are we going to build trust in DeFi again? And of course, the answer is formal verification. So Supra formally verified Moonshot consensus. We're moving into that realm for smart contracts. We will gain the kind of confidence back as an industry, as long as we move towards formal verification of smart contract code. Then everyone's going to feel safer. Then it can kind of hit new all-time highs, perhaps. That's going to be a period, though. This transition is going to take some time. In terms of quantum, remember, quantum affects blockchains because the amount of data that has to propagate through transactions, the verification size, the time latency to verify it basically bloats the chain and makes it slower. So it's a real open problem. There's multiple techniques. We have also have some very interesting techniques here. But for Bitcoin in particular, yes, quantum is a threat. Do they have time to pivot? The answer is yes, they do. And but this has even Bitcoin whales a little bit nervous. And this is probably what you're seeing play out a bit more in the last, like, 2 months, perhaps. But long story short, there's solutions for this. There's been post-quantum cryptography for quite some time already. The data that on your Supra OS, even in the cloud mode at rest, the database is post-quantum secure already. Getting post-quantum crypto into a blockchain is an open kind of engineering and research problem that all of us, Ethereum, Solana, Supra, we're all looking into, and there's anyways, I feel very strongly that this will be solved, but I think I don't think that's as big of a concern. I think the big one right now is like we've asked every developer that runs dApps on Supra to use AI to attack your system yourself. I have asked our team, please audit our system and basically red team it with AI to see if there's any vulnerabilities. And this process is, same thing with Supra FX. We've been doing this as well. So it's a reality we live in, and I think we just have to adapt. And what we are investing in at Supra, led by Dr. Rog, is formal verification in smart contracts, and also just all kinds of things, cryptography, implementation, etc. We need to bring back and restore faith in the undergrounding like foundational safety of the system itself. And the answer, and I'll just be very confident with this, is called formal verification. So we do this already, and we continue to invest into this. This is how you get confidence in DeFi back again. Okay, that's it, guys. I think we covered enough today.
Wow. Well, there you go, folks. That was a comprehensive breakdown of where we are and everything going on with Supra Labs. Josh, thank you so much for your time. If I'm not mistaken, is it 19 minutes to 1 a.m. for you right now?
It is.
Wow.
But actually, the best time, and guys, I'm telling you, like, you need to sleep occasionally, of course. Take care of yourself, personal responsibility. But there's a powerful time to work between 1 a.m. and 5:30 in the morning. It's quiet. No one's calling me. Slack's not going off. The roads are quiet, and you can just zone in. It's like a very magical period to work. It's not healthy, so don't do it forever. But I'm just telling you guys, that's a little kind of work tip that is effective. And then also just, I'm actually usually awake right now.
Well, I mean, we just appreciate your time, man. There is a very, very clear mission behind your work, and it comes through in every time you chat on the SUP. So thank you so much for making the time. That was a very comprehensive breakdown. We need to have you back on soon because the questions have started flowing, funny enough, towards the end of the show here. So we need to have you back on within the next 2 or 3 weeks, Josh. But
Sure.
We're going to let you go. I know you want to keep building. I will catch you internally on our Slack and in our next meetings and back here on the SUP for the community within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks so much
James.
for tuning in, everyone. It's been a real privilege to have you guys. As always, you guys have been amazing. So many of you tuned in. We have had a record-breaking YouTube stream today. So thank you for watching on YouTube. Catch you guys same time, same place, right here on YouTube and X, 3 p.m. UTC for the SUP every Thursday. This has been the World Cup feature. Didn't mention too much to Josh because he's been too focused. But yes, the World Cup is happening live right now. South Africa are through to the knockout phases for the first time in their history. Yeah, baby. And Josh's South Korea or Korea Republic are waiting to see other results before they confirm whether they made it to the knockout phases. Guys, you're amazing. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you guys same time, same place next week. Until then, it is from me, James, and no, I didn't shave my mustache. Everyone that predicted no, well done. From me, James,